welcome everyone. Honoree-Louise here with my first ever reading vlog. I decided to do a reading vlog because I'm participating in Blackathon this month and I want to record my reading experience. So, if you don't know, Blackathon is a readathon hosted by Francina at Francina Simone, Lauren at The Novel Lush, and Jessie at Bowties and Books. In order to celebrate Black History Month, I'm going to leave the link to the Blackathon Twitter page down below, as well as the channels on the host. So, the thing is, when I post a poll on Twitter asking people if I should only include me reading Blackathon's book or if I should include more of my other reading and also other activity as well, then I got a tie between only Blackathon book and including other activity as well. So what I'm gonna do as a compromise is that I'm gonna include other activity in the vlog, but I'm gonna leave a timestamp in the description box, so if you just want to look at me reading Blackathon books and hear my thought on them, then you can just simply click on the timestamp and, you know, skip to the part that you want. Okay, so this is the first day of the Blackathon. It's in the morning and I don't usually read in the morning, so the actual vlog is not gonna start until later today when I start reading, but I want to give you guys my TBR when I'm still looking presentable. Actually, I'm ready to go to uni just right after filming this video. So, you probably noticed two books here. That is going to be a half of my TBR for the Blackathon. The other half is still on hold at the library, but I'm hoping to get them within this month. The first book I'm going to read for Blackathon is Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I'm not going to bore you with a synopsis because I think everyone will have probably heard of this. This book I'm going to use to fulfill the first challenge, Feel the Love. Read a book of any genre featuring a romance between two black people or one black person and a person of color. The second book I have on my TBR is Ever Fair by D.C. Shaw. This is an alternate history steampunk fantasy that asks the question of what would have become of Belgium's colonization of the Congo if the native population has learned about the STEAM technology a little bit earlier. I'm gonna use this book to fulfill the fifth challenge, More Than a Color. We house complexity within us. Read a book starring an intersectional black character, black and LGBT, black and neurodivergent, black and disabled, etc. As far as I know, this book has quite a bit of LGBT plus representation, so that's why I chose it for this challenge. Also, both of these books are written by black authors, so they would help me fulfill third challenge, which is Heroes, any work by a black or African author. Now we come to the part where I don't have the books here yet. The next book on my TBR is Saga Volume 1. I know I'm really late to the hype train, but I'm getting to it. I'm gonna use this book to fulfill the second challenge, Wakanda Forever. Read a graphic novel or comics with a black or African main character. So the last book on my TBR is the group book, which fulfills the last challenge in this together. And the book is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. It's a story told in verse about a young girl in Harlem who discovers slam poetry as a way to understand her mother's religion and her own relationship to the world. So that's it for my TBR. There's also another challenge for the Blackathon that doesn't involve reading. That's the fourth challenge, Feel the Beat. spoken word. Listen to this 4 poem and say your favorite on social media with a friend and discuss what it means to you and why it matters. There are links to YouTube videos of the 4 poems. And during the reading vlog, at some point, I'm gonna film myself listening to this poem, and I'm probably gonna have a separate video to talk about my favorite. Okay, so that's it all for now. I'll see you later when I start reading. So this is now around 9:30 in the evening. I've gone to my evening routine and did some writing as well. Now I'm ready for bed. More precisely, reading before bed. I'm gonna start with Children of Blood and Bone. I've been wanting to read this since it came out, but having heard that it's very much inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender, I didn't want to read it before I actually watched the show, which I did, finally, during the winter break. So now I'm really excited to get into this. So I've been reading for about an hour. I got to page 48, which is a little bit after the end of chapter 3. I suppose I haven't read enough yet to be excited. I just have lots of questions. Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday morning and I just got off the subway in Chinatown. I'm going to go grocery shopping today. It's usually my grocery shopping day on Sunday, but because a few friends and I have a Lunar New Year celebration this evening, I'm going to Chinatown to pick up some stuff. And on the subway, I did some of my reading. I'm about 200 pages into Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Things are getting more and more interesting, and also I'm really liking Ambot. You know who he is when you actually read it. That's my update for now. So I just finished my shopping at the butcher and now I'm gonna get myself some fruit. I only pick up fruit when I go to Chinatown because they're cheap here and they also have some less common ones. So across the street is the Vietnamese supermarket that I usually go to when I go to Chinatown, and I'm gonna pick up the most important thing for the dinner tonight. I'm finally back at home, so I put away all of the stuff that needs refrigerating, and now I'm at leisure to show you the highlights of my acquisition. So here is what I got for the dinner tonight. This is bánh chưng and this is bánh tét. This is more popular in the north and this is more popular in South Vietnam. They are indispensable for Lunar New Year or Tết celebration. This one is an unexpected acquisition. As you can see here is a sweet version with banana as filling. I actually have never had that before, but I would like to try it. I've spoken before of exotic fruit. Well, not exotic, but like less commonly seen in supermarkets. And I got rambutans. They're quite lovely. I know that you can get it in supermarkets sometimes, but they're usually more expensive and they're not there all the time. I've never gone to Chinatown without seeing this before, so I only get them when I can. Anyway, that's it. Now I'm just gonna cook myself some lunch. It's Wednesday. I haven't filmed anything since Saturday, so I figured that I should give you guys an update. I finished Skyward by Brandon Sanderson over the weekend, and for the last 100 pages or so, I just couldn't put it down. And afterward, I kind of got a book hangover, which is why I haven't actually read any physical book since the weekend until now. I did, however, pick up a new audiobook. It's called The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barhill. I heard of this book from Jessica Lee Rice, and she has a really good non-spoilery review of it. And I'm going to leave that down below. About 2 hours in of a 9.5-hour book, so quite a good chunk of it already. I am enjoying it so far. It's quite whimsical. I like the whimsy, and I like the narrator as well. She does really nice voices of different people. Hopefully I'm gonna get some reading done today with Children of Blood and Bone. I really do want to finish it soon so that I can get to the next book on my Blackathon TBR. I'll see you guys later. Bye. It's now Thursday night. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an update. I didn't read as much as I hoped to yesterday. I made a little progress with Children of Blood and Bone when I was on the train to meet up with my writing group, but it wasn't much. One thing I want to say though, so right now I'm on page 68. Jelly and Inan just met for the first time. I was quite disappointed by the apparent supernatural connection between them. Whatever. I've heard people saying that their romance is kind of insta-love, but one thing I dislike even more than insta-love is insta-love that is fueled by some sort of supernatural connection. I hate it when supernatural connection affects the relationship without going through circumstances. For example, suppose that I have some magical power, but I can only use them if someone else gives me permission. Then that would affect the power dynamic between us. So there's obviously a supernatural connection if someone can control whether I can use my power or not. But if that affects the power dynamic between us, like the relationship dynamic between us, and in turn changes our relationship, that's fine. But if there's nothing in between, you just go directly from the supernatural connection to a certain relationship feature or dynamic, I don't like that at all. So I'm on page 108. This is gonna be spoilery, I think. As long as I'm holding the book up and you don't want to hear any spoiler, then just move the video. Anyway, up until this point, I suppose that Inan is a connector. That's why there was a connection between him and Jelly when they met. But so far, when he was reading the mind of other people, there was no sign that they could feel the connection. I mean, we don't see their perspective, but if they felt it, it would be shocking enough that there would be some physical reactions that we could see from Inan's point of view, and there was none of that. So my question is, why is Jelly so special? I mean, the less special the connection is, I would feel better about their romance, even though it hasn't started yet. But I know that it's gonna happen, so. Anyway, I'm being really slow because, frankly, I don't feel very connected to any of the characters. I mean, I'm the kind of reader who is more likely to be swept up in figuring out the magic system and the plot anyway, but there is a threshold beyond which then I would be completely on board with the characters and be more emotional and less analytical about my reading, I suppose, and this doesn't reach that yet. Hey, so it's late afternoon on Friday. I just came back from my office and I dropped by the library to get some of the books that I put on hold. So now I also have the Bullet X and Saga with me, which means that I have my entire Blackathon TBR ready. Anyway, I feel like now is a good time for me to just tell you guys my reading plan for the weekend. So I read a little bit more of Children in Blood and Bone this morning when I was on the subway to my therapist, but I haven't read enough compared to yesterday to actually add any thoughts, but I really want to finish this weekend. And I will hopefully also finish Saga during the weekend. This is not on my Blackathon TBR, but I also got some other books that I would like to finish during the weekend. If you've been watching my channel, you know that I just finished watching Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first time this winter break, which means now I'm starting to get into the comic. So I finally have all 3 volumes for The Promise, and I'm planning to finish them this weekend. Another book I'm gonna read, or well, listen to during this weekend is The Girl Who Drank the Moon. I mentioned it in a previous update, and I'm planning to continue it very soon. Basically, I'm going to cook dinner and listen to the audiobook while I cook. Hey guys, it's Saturday morning and I only read about 20 pages of Children in Blood and Bone last night. That said, I think I'm getting further enough into the book that it's hard not to say anything that is spoilery. I'm just gonna say that the stake is getting higher and I'm really excited to continue on. Now, today is going to my filming day. I ran out of my reserve of videos that I already filmed. Hello again. Now it's Monday evening and I feel before I start my reading for tonight, I'm gonna have a bit of a quick wrap up for the weekend. So I finished Children of Blood and Bone on Saturday. I actually was reading during the intermission of the ballet that I went to, and there 60 pages left and I just flew through them. So the overall impression is that I really like it. It was not mind-blowing, but it was super entertaining and I'm excited for the next book to come out. I think I went in knowing that the book, a lot of the inspiration were taken from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you can see the inspiration, but I think Tomi Adeyemi did a very good job of making the story her own. A big part of that is the really rich mythology and world building. That part is what I really like. One thing that actually decreased my enjoyment of the book a lot is the insta-love. It was very insta-lovey. But I'm not sure how it would have been without it, because some of the action was motivated by this love. So now that I finished this, I have 1 down, 3 to go. I said that I was going to finish Saga Volume 1 during the weekend, but I ended up starting the Poet's Egg instead. 30 pages in, and I'm really enjoying it. When I went in, I was expecting one really long poem, but I was pleasantly surprised that it's a collection of poems. Obviously, they go together into a bigger story, but each of them is also kind of self-contained, which is super nice. The last thing that I read during the weekend is that I finished all 3 volumes of Avatar, The Last Airbender, The Promise comic. I like the topics that they try to tackle, but the way this topic were tackled was a little bit meh for me. And I know they are kids books, but the series was also for kids, and I was going in expecting the same kind of standard as the series, and I don't feel that way. I'm not sure, because it could be that as I read more of these comics, then things will start to get better. I mean, when I started Avatar The Last Airbender, I was a bit underwhelmed with the first half of the first season, given the hype before I started watching it. But you know, after that, I got into it and it was great. So hopefully it's gonna be the same story with this comic. Hello! So I've been neglecting this vlog for a bit. I've obviously just came out of the shower. It's Wednesday afternoon, no, Wednesday evening, and I finished the Poet X earlier this evening while I was editing a new video, just because my video editor keeps, you know, not responding sometimes, and during those times I usually have get some reading in. It's a 5-star book for me. I really feel for Xiomara. Even though I can't relate to her specific circumstances, I do relate to using poetry and having a poetry club that help you during like some of the hardest time in your life. This really resonate with me. Oh, and so as soon as I started this, I haven't read anything else, so you can tell that it's really sucking all of my attention. Anyway, I think I will try to finish Saga before Friday, so before the 2 weeks mark, and then end the vlog there, and then have the other half of the month to read the last book, and then to do the spoken word challenge. Hi everyone, it's Monday, February the 18th, and since the last update, I've only finished Saga Volume 1 and listened a little bit more to the audiobook of The Girl Who Drank the Moon. So I'm just gonna wrap up the vlog. So I feel like it's still early to make any big judgment. My overall feeling is that I'm really intrigued by this world, especially the different species. I must admit that I have difficulty wrapping my head around some of the species in here, but I'm hoping that the further we go on, the clearer everything's gonna be. Regarding storytelling, I feel like there were a couple of mood whiplashes. As in, things go from pretty serious to like humorous and a bit lighter really quickly. I feel like that's a stylistic choice, and currently I'm still not sure how I feel about it. I appreciate the humor, but I'm not sure how I actually feel about the transition. We'll see how I feel when I read a little bit more of this. I'm not sure if I will do that during this month because I still have a lot of things that I got from the library that I want to finish before requesting something new. Anyway, that's it for now. So within a little bit more than 2 weeks, I have read 3 books for Blackathon, which are Children of Blood and Bone, The Poet X, and Saga. I still have 1 book on my TBR, which is Everfair, which I'm gonna read in the next vlog. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this vlog. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I see you all in my next video. Bye!